What's going on the Copywriting Call podcast? Your boy Loso 2.0, the copy got himself. And today we're going to talk about the 6 simple steps to an interview. Ooh, where do I start? First of all, I am sore a little bit. Went to the park to get some, runs in this morning. Of course, I was getting buckets as well. Dude was giving me props. Something I play hard, but I don't know if I have just one of those faces, right? I feel like sometimes people just got those faces where people just want to talk trash to you, and I'm like, bro, why are you talking trash to me? I'm cooking, y'all. We won 2 straight in a row, and on top of that, out of the 12 points we had, I probably had like 6 or 7 of them. Like, what is? I just don't get it, man. Maybe, like I said, maybe I had those faces. Today also, me and my wife are gonna go ahead to go watch a football game and stuff like that. To go see some family, play some football and stuff. So that should be a nice little date, and it should be exciting and stuff to do that. Got my new gear on that got last week. I literally love this outfit. And oh my gosh, the weather breaking and stuff like that. I hate cold weather so much. Like, you guys just don't understand. I'd rather be drenched in sweat, which is nasty, but rather than do that. But that's pretty much a couple updates. Oh, then in my job, I was stressed out. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm extremely stressed out in my job. But every time I get to that point where I'm extremely stressed out, boom, I figure it out. And then boom, the next day is good. Like every single time. And I get it and I get it and I get it. And it feels a lot better and a lot better. No, it's just I literally love I literally love like getting challenged, because everybody keeps saying, no, if it was hard, everybody would do it. Like, I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it, and that's true. If it was easy, every single person would do it, and that's not me. I like to get that has to happen in order for me to grow as a person or a being. Yeah. So let's get back to the 6 simple steps to an interview, right? So step 1 is to get a copy of the product. So whoever you're interviewing on your podcast, especially if they have, and these are some things that I'm gonna start implementing into my actual podcast interviews that I haven't been implementing so far. But it's to get a copy of their product, because there's a product or service that they sell themselves, and the point of the interview is also to help them promote their stuff and bring their stuff to light, right? So I should have a copy of the product, and I should know pretty much the ins and out of it. You got to do your research. I remember Nicki Minaj actually snapped on the Breakfast Club because she was just like, yo, like, you guys are the most unprofessional interviews. So I don't do interviews here. I do interviews like overseas and stuff, because they'll have like my stuff already up there, already see my music video and everything. And the guy was just like, yeah, I mean, I checked it out a little bit. I just didn't watch the whole thing. And it's like, how can you have somebody on there, especially someone of her caliber, famous person, on your show, and then not even do your own research to some of the things that they offer? It's crazy. So it's definitely good to have a copy of the product or service that the person is selling. That's step 1, right? Step 2, make a list of kind of like the stuff that you want to talk about, right? Like, make a list of if like, for example, I have a book, right? Each chapter they should have, if someone was interviewing me, they should have my book already. They should have a list of each chapter and what's the chapter about. They should literally have not even the list of the chapter and what's the chapter about. They should also have like, okay, this chapter's about this chapter's about that, thing like that, and just keep going on and on and on. They shouldn't automatically like just think like, okay, he just knows what, you know what I mean? Like they should do their research, and like I said, have a list of my chapters and everything. That's what they should have, and then they should know what each chapter is talking about. Like, one chapter is talking about finance, one is talking about health, one's talking about. They should know those broken down. Step 3, ask the questions about the products or service. So if you don't know nothing about the products or service, if you don't know anything about the products or service, you need to actually go and ask the questions about them after you make a list. So after you make a list of all the products or services that you have to ask certain questions about each product or each service in order to, basically know what you're talking about. So, and that's the point of interview, right? The point of interview is to ask more questions and to talk less. You want to ask more questions and allow the person to talk more. And when they talk more, they will, when they get a chance to talk more, they're going to talk more, and you're going to get a chance to talk less, because that's not the point of interview. Isn't for you to talk the head off of the person. That part of the interview is for the person to get their chance to talk about their product or service and actually promote their stuff. So you talk less. You have to ask the right questions. That's what it's all about, the questions. Actually, I just want to talk about this. That's what my next book is about, right? It's called Shut Up and Sell. So definitely look out for that book. It's going to be about sales and, asking about the right questions and stuff. I'm telling you, you guys are going to like it. I know you guys are going to like it, especially my salespeople out there. You're going to learn a lot about sales and how to present yourself and all that stuff. So definitely look out for that, right? So first we said, right, the steps to an interview is to get a copy of the product or service. The second one is to make a list of the product or service and break it down. The third is to actually ask questions about the product or service, showing that you actually have some type of, like you did your research, right? Like you actually care. You should care. They're coming on your show. You should be a professional and know what you're talking about pretty much, right? Step 4, get the interviewee to tell a story. Every time they have a product or service, it should be connected to a certain story, right? So like if they have a the reason why they started, it's called the Epiphany Bridge story, right? The reason why they started doing what they did had to start off with the fact that they first were, something happened or maybe something pushed them to the edge and then they finally got to get up and also. So it's like, get them to tell a story about their product or service. And that's what people buy off emotion and back it up with logic, right? Emotions start off, my fingers on the camera, but emotions start off the reason why people do it. That's why they say when you sell to always connect it back to a story, because a story, like even from ancient times, right? People sit around the fire, light the fire up, stand in the wood, and they start talking. And they're like, oh, and even the Bible, right? The most powerful book in the world is just a bunch of parables to teach you different lessons. So stories, get the interview to tell a story, the interviewee to tell a story, because then it's going to help bring in that emotional connection to their product or service. Then they can talk about the benefits, not the features. Features are what it does, benefits are what it does for the client, right? So let them tell a story, right? Step 5, make a call to action. A lot of times people would just go, talk about their stuff, this, that, and the third, but then they don't actually give no direction, right? You have to tell them what to do. The whole point of sales, the whole point of copywriting, all this stuff, the reason why it's copywriting called is the ability to persuade someone to take an action. And if they are taking an action, you have to tell them what action to take. You can't just assume that they're going to know. Like I over here talking about this, that, and the third, give you all this content. You're just going to take the content, right? But if I say, oh, like, subscribe, also, I got to give you an action to take. So make sure there's some type of call to action at the end of the interview. A big thing I like to do is, hey, listen, how can people get a contact with you, this, that, and the third? All right, so go follow him on this or da-da-da. You're telling them an action. Follow, click the link. You're telling them some type of action to take. There always should be a call to action in anything you do. And this all goes back to copywriting as well, right? Like I said, when you do all those things you have to do, you have to tell them to do something at the end, because that's the end. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to motivate people to take some form of action. And then the final step is to edit. Edit. And this is just like with copywriting at all, right? It's like you should always edit your interviews, right? There's something I'm not good at. I don't do at all, to be honest with you. Honestly, I put the raw one out there, but they want you to take out the uhs, the likes, things on that type of caliber should be taken out of interviews. But to be honest, I do it straight from the muscle. It's going to get better as you keep getting traction and stuff, and you start getting better at speaking. You start to gain a lot more traction. But at first, it's going to start with that. So you have to take the time to edit those things out. So like I said, 1, get a copy of the product. 2, make a list of the product or service. 3, ask questions about the product or service. 4, get the interviewee to tell a story. 5, make a call to action. And 6, to edit. And a bonus tip, right, is to, after the interview is done, get it transcribed and get an audio version. Because some people like to read. Some people prefer to read. Some people prefer to listen, and some people prefer to watch. And also, this is giving you more products or services to fit. Like I'm reading the book, Ben Settle's book, right? There's interviews in there, and it's just transcribed interviews of the people that he talked to that are different entrepreneurs. And instead of rewriting it up now and then, making it a podcast episode, and then he's just recycling this material. And this is what a lot of them do. You have to get a lot of your content out there so that you can keep continuing to recycle the material so that you can keep growing, right? So those are the 6 simple steps to an interview when you have someone interview on your podcast, right? So definitely take that stuff, start implementing some of the things, man. I want you guys to like, subscribe, and share this channel, comment below. And if you listen to this in audio, please give it 5 stars. I want you guys to keep killing the day. And remember, you pray for success like this. 2.0 out.